I apologize for the background noise. You know what I'm sick of is people in this country having the memory of a gnat. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not a fucking hero. She is a supervillain. Want me to prove it? Watch this first clip where she is harassing David Hogg, who just had 14 of his classmates murdered because of gun violence.
David, why are you supporting the red flag laws? If Scott Peterson, the resource officer at Parkland, had done his job, then Nicholas Cruz wouldn't have killed anybody in your high school, or at least protected them. Why are you supporting red flag gun laws that attack our Second Amendment rights? And why are you using kids as a barrier?
Yeah, because nothing says I love Jesus like harassing the survivor, because God forbid a guy that just lost 14 classmates wants gun reform. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene, I would sure hate for your piece of metal that was God-given. Yeah, because Jesus wrote the Second Amendment, you dumbass. Now let's watch her talk about conspiracy theories about 9/11.
Right? We had witnessed 9/11, the terrorist attack in New York, and the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania, and the so-called plane that crashed into the Pentagon. It's odd, there's never any evidence shown for a plane in the Pentagon. But anyways, I'm not going to dive into the 9/11.
Marjorie Taylor Greene voted for an adjudicator rapist who sexually assaulted over 25 women, likely more. 13-year-old Katie Johnson filed a lawsuit that Trump and Epstein raped her. But Trump's a billionaire. She's not. What chance does she have? Because justice isn't blind. He asked for the execution of 5 black men. She ran around, stop the steal, with zero evidence during the election. 5 officers died. Many are injured, long-term disabilities. He stole from cancer charities, and she didn't care about any of that. I could spend the next hour talking about the amount of lies that he spread, and she doesn't care. What she cares about is that he's a white man. That's it. She used him to gin up her uneducated, consensus of brains, white supremacist, racist base back in Georgia, yeehaw, with American flags and bald eagles and quoting scripture that she has no idea what the hell they mean. Patriotism, freedom. And you just throw a bunch of stupid keywords to a stupid bunch of people and they don't care. That's all she does. She is a white nationalist. That's all she is. Her and Satan have a lot in common. They both believe in God and neither one of them follow him. You think Jesus would have been okay with 9/11 conspiracy theories? You think Jesus would have been okay with January 6th? Huh? Do you think Jesus would have sided with David Hogg or red flag laws? You're damn right Jesus would have sided with David Hogg. You're not a Christian. You're the same religious ideology that would have crucified Jesus in the name of God. And you would have chose Barabbas. And you did it again. You chose the earthly king, the white earthly king, in 16, 20, and 24, because you want to make America white again. And for people like the View, shame on you that you would interview this nut and not push back on her at all. Oh, well, I regret some of the things. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. She is an opportunist. She is a vulture. She knows exactly what's happening. And she just happens to be a little bit ahead of the curve because she sees the light at the end of the tunnel. She was fine voting for Trump that sexually assaulted adult women and raped adult women. That was okay. But somehow a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old is a bridge too far. Yeah, that makes a lot of goddamn sense. Way to go, Marjorie Taylor Greene. You've really found your morality. You've really just reached into it. Somehow 13-year-olds are too far. But if you're 40, whatever. Shit happens, right? And you keep this up, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're going to know who's on the Epstein list because you're going to be bunking next to Jeffrey Epstein. You could talk about God and Jesus and faith. You can own as many Bibles as you want. You can have as many crosses. You can quote scripture all you want. But the greatest commandment is to love thy neighbor as thyself. And you sat there while officers were beaten and said, you know what? I'm going to vote for him. Yeah, because that's exactly what Jesus would do, Marjorie Taylor Greene.